My Sunday was interrupted by the wife complaining that the dryer is not drying. Apologies in advance here, by the way, for the annoying sounds. I've got the 3D Magic Maker kicking out some parts for my custom drill storage drawers. Anyway, the dryer apart. The problem is the obvious. The heating coil is no longer one piece. And even before I got this all apart, I knew it was the heating coil, because an easy way to check these is your multi-tester, set it to continuity or ohms, and just check continuity of the heating coil itself. And you can see in this case we're not getting anything through there at all, because it has a break in it. In fact, if I leave the one lead connected to the top coil here and I move it over to where the coil is still intact, sure enough I do get a reading, about 4 ohms up to that point in the coil. So I got on Amazon. It seems this is a pretty common piece, and they're not expensive. Less than 18 bucks shipped. But some of the people were complaining that the replacement unit didn't heat as well as their old unit. These units are going to produce heat just through resistance, and it's stamped 5,300 watts. And I thought, well, let's see what the resistance of this coil should be. I can compare it to the new one when it comes. So if I put my leads back on here, back to a no reading, because back open circuit, and then we close this off. Just grab a jumper here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to complete the circuit, bypassing the broken section here. Just nice and snug. And there we go. Now we're reading about 10.8 ohms. Now, the resistance would be a little bit higher, but since we're missing part of the coil there, it's not going to read quite as high. So we could probably estimate, I don't know, maybe that's up to 10.9. Why don't we just call it 11 ohms resistance? So if we pull out the scientific calculator, we can calculate how many watts this should draw at that resistance. So we have 240 volts squared. Divide that by the resistance. In this case we'll say 11 ohms. That is just under 5,300 watts. So it might be a little enthusiastic with the rating, or I might not be measuring this quite right, but it's very close to what the rated output should be. So when I get the replacement unit in, I'll be able to see what it reads from a resistance perspective and can determine if I'm going to get the same heating rating out of this. But I thought I'd post a video up that might be useful to folks troubleshooting this. This is a Samsung dryer, by the way, and it seems this part is a fairly common failure. At least I'm going to say that it is, given the fact that you have 1,900 positive reviews on this particular part number, and I'm sure this fits in a couple different dryers, but it is a dead-on match for the part number of the unit in here. So I'll post a follow-up when I get the replacement part in with the what the ohm reading is, and if everything is good once it's in. Also, by the way, so there's a couple different ways to buy this. You can buy just this coil part here, or you can buy this whole unit, or you can buy the coil plus these two parts here. One of these is probably a thermal fuse, and the other one is a thermostat. In fact, I believe that's the thermostat, because it's that L26050F. I believe that's given the range for that. And what this does is, once it gets out of the temperature range, it opens up. And this one is probably a thermal fuse. So the way to check to make sure these are okay is to just make sure that you can still read continuity across them. And there should be no resistance here, so we can just put it on continuity. There we go. So that means that thermostat right now is closed and passing current. That's good. That's what it's supposed to do, since this is at room temperature. And same thing. That passes the voltage through there, no problem, as it should. Again, I'm not certain. I believe that this part is a thermal fuse, kind of a once and done type deal, whereas this one is the actual thermostat that is supposed to cut in and out and control the amount of heat that this unit is producing. I know that it is not a thermistor because both of these were in line with the heating coil itself. So one side of the 240 volts connects to here, and the other side connects to here, meaning that all of that current is going through both this device and this device, and through that whole coil, both sides. This is top and bottom. Well, that's it. Like I said, I will post back when I get the replacement unit, what the ohm reading is and how the repair went.